in a faraway land where wind and sand blend everything into a peaceful sight. But chaos is brewing in the distance. Have you ever seen a firestorm from the sky? It's not just a natural phenomenon, but a sign of a great power. From afar, the sound of galloping hooves echoes like a call of destiny. A man, about to meet an incredible fate. Legend says Elijah, a devoted man, was taken away by that very chariot of fire in an unimaginable way. Are you ready to discover the story of loyalty, miracles, and salvation? Click subscribe and join us on this journey. In the harsh desert, Elijah prepared himself for a great mission to challenge the king and the foreign gods. Elijah was no ordinary man. Since birth, he was destined for a divine mission. King Ahab, a powerful king, had never faced anyone daring enough to challenge him like Elijah did. With unwavering faith in God, Elijah held his staff, knowing true strength comes from faith. Though faced with worldly power, Elijah's eyes showed no hesitation because he knew God was with him. Ahab mocked, but Elijah knew that the strength of faith would soon be proven. In a moment of silence, Elijah raised his hands to heaven, praying for divine guidance. As Elijah prayed, the sky began to change. Signs of a storm were forming. In the storm of power and intrigue, Elijah stood firm without a hint of fear. Ahab began to notice something unusual. Elijah's words were no longer something he could dismiss. Thunder roared across the sky, an undeniable sign that God's power was present. Elijah stood tall amid the storm, his gaze fixed on the heavens. On Mount Carmel, Elijah faced 450 prophets of Baal. They put their faith in their God, hoping for a miracle from Baal. The prophets of Baal prayed from morning till evening, screaming and cutting themselves to draw Baal's attention. But the heavens remained silent. Elijah watched them calmly. He knew that only one true faith could connect to the power of the universe, faith in God. Then it was Elijah's turn. He prayed briefly and sincerely, "O Lord, show your power so that they know you are the true God." As soon as Elijah finished his prayer, the sky darkened. Clouds gathered as a sign of change. A spark flashed in the sky, signaling the coming of God's power. Then fire fell from the sky with unimaginable power, consuming the wooden altar, and even the water poured over it. That was the power of prayer. The prophets of Baal watched in horror and fear. They realized Elijah's power came not from man, but from God. Elijah stood still, knowing his prayer had been heard and answered by God. That is the power of faith. Those around witnessed the miracle and began to bow down to worship God. They understood that there is only one true God. On Mount Carmel, faith triumphed and God's power was proven. Miracles will always happen when we put our faith in the right place. The power of faith, when connected with God, can do the impossible. What do you think was Elijah's greatest miracle? Leave a comment below to share your thoughts. Elijah knew the time for farewell was near. Elisha stood beside him, his heart heavy. Elisha did not leave Elijah's side. He knew this would be the last time they walked together on earth. Elijah turned to look at Elisha, his eyes calm yet filled with emotion. "Tell me, what do you want before I leave this world? Please, let me inherit a double portion of your spirit so I can continue your work." Elijah understood Elisha's request was great, but he knew Elisha was ready. They continued their journey in silence, with only the sound of the wind and their footsteps. Suddenly, a mighty whirlwind appeared from the horizon, enveloping everything. Elisha stood still. A whirlwind came, signaling the moment Elijah would be taken up in the chariot of fire. Elisha raised his hand, trying to reach for Elijah as he was swept away in the fiery chariot. His eyes were filled with tears. Elijah was taken to heaven, and Elisha stood in reverence, his heart full of sorrow. Elijah's cloak fell to the ground, and Elisha picked it up as a sacred memento. With Elijah's cloak in his hand, Elisha stood by the Jordan River. He raised the cloak and struck the water. "The God of Elijah is now my God too. Please part these waters." The Jordan River parted, and Elisha walked through the shimmering light. His gaze was steadfast, ready to carry on Elijah's mission. After Elijah was taken to heaven, Elisha stood alone with the cloak of his master, as a sacred legacy. The cloak, a symbol of power, had now been passed to Elisha, who would continue Elijah's mission. Elisha approached the Jordan River, the strong current before him. Sunlight shone upon him. "Can I do what my master Elijah did? Is God truly with me?" With firm faith in God, Elisha acted. He struck the river with Elijah's cloak, and a miracle happened. The Jordan River parted, creating a dry path between the waters. Elisha stood amazed but filled with faith. The miracle was not Elijah's alone. Faith in God allowed Elisha to perform extraordinary things. Every step Elisha took through the dry path was proof of God's guidance. He was not just an heir but also a successor to miracles. Standing on the other side of the Jordan, Elisha watched as the river returned to its normal flow behind him. Elisha knelt, praying to thank God for granting him strength and guidance. "O Lord, I am grateful for the strength and guidance you have given me. I will continue the mission you have assigned." In the light of the blessing, Elisha understood that miracles come not only from power but also from loyalty to God. Elisha moved forward on his new journey, carrying Elijah's legacy and a strong faith in God. The story of Elisha reminds us that each of us can be a vessel of miracles if we have unshakable faith. The story of Elijah and Elisha is a testament to the power of faith and loyalty. On a silent night, everything seemed to stand still, signaling that a miracle was about to happen. A glittering golden storm approached from afar. Fire began to blaze from within as if a heavenly power was awakening. And then, out of the blazing whirlwind, the chariot of fire appeared, magnificent and divine. Elijah, with unwavering faith, looked up in awe. Elijah was lifted into the light, enveloped in the sacred glow as he was taken into the chariot of fire. Sitting firmly on the chariot of fire, Elijah ascended to heaven, surrounded by holy flames. If you feel inspired by this story, please hit the subscribe button and share with your friends. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you won't miss our next videos.